David Cameron says UK intelligence has prevented 7 terror attacks on Britain in 6 months. David Cameron has revealed British intelligence agencies have prevented 7 terrorist attacks on Britain in the last 6 months. Downing Street said on Monday morning that one of the attacks that have been prevented was stopped in the last 2 months. The Prime Minister told BBC Radio 4's Today programme on Monday morning a Paris-style attack could happen in the UK, and it meant Western intelligence agencies would have to go back to the drawing board to examine how to tackle the threat. Well, thank goodness for MI5, eh? When they're not filming children being raped to use as blackmail, or when they're not protecting paedophiles, they must be getting up to some half-decent work, if this is to be believed. But I have to admit, I'm a little bit confused by the numbers, because just over a couple of weeks ago, Andrew Fatty Four Eyes Parker, Director General of MI5, said this in an article, that they had, in the past 12 months, his agency had thwarted 6 terror plots in the UK and another 7 abroad. Doesn't 6 and 7 equal 13? Surely Cameron would have told the country the correct figures, wouldn't he? And Fatty Four Eyes is talking about the last 12 months, whereas Cameron is talking about the last 6 months. What are the correct figures? Is it 6 on UK soil? Is it 7 abroad? Is it 7 on UK soil? Is it none abroad? Is it over 6 months? Is it over a year? You get my point. Cameron said on Monday morning that one of the attacks was stopped in the last 2 months. Well, Fatty Four Eyes' statement came only a couple of weeks ago. Shouldn't their figures match? Who are we to believe? Some say I may be splitting hairs, but it is important to get the facts correct. I'm not saying I don't believe them. I'm not saying that they're lying, but actually, I am saying I don't believe them. I don't believe a bloody word of this. I think it's all about the fear porn, to get us to submit and to manipulate the X Factor, the I'm a Celebrity crowd into another pointless war for banks and corporations. Cameron loves to talk about morals, decency, and doing the right thing, yet his government won't feed its own people, meaning some are starving to death, literally. We're killing nearly 12,000 people needlessly each year on the NHS because of a lack of funds. Yet you just watch him pull billions out of his arse when it's to bomb brown people in a far-off country that have done nothing to us. I see he's already made the arms manufacturers pretty happy today by announcing another $2 billion to be spent on new gear for the SAS to counter any Paris-style attack on UK soil. Did the arms company's share price rise this morning? Well done, Cameron, they'll be saying, a job well done for his buddies and donators. But I firmly believe that if there were 13 thwarted terror attacks planned against the UK and they were foiled by child-abusing filmers and paedophile-protecting MI5, then they should come out and tell us about these plots. Genuinely, give us as much detail as possible so a concerned public will know what to look out for. They won't, of course. They'll just hide behind the catch-all phrase of national security. Maybe MI5 should have a monthly TV show, a bit like Crime Watch, where they tell us about all the plots that they've foiled since the last show. It could be called something like, oh, I don't know, MI5, here to make sure the government don't get caught. They could run us through the plots that were exposed.
Yeah, here is Abdul McDabdul now. He's trying to get cash out of a cash machine, but he failed because he forgot his PIN number. Here he is, tripping over his shoelace, and here he is asking a member of the public to tie those shoelaces for him. The member of the public is clearly of interest to us. We'd like to speak to him as soon as possible to ask him what he knows about Abdul McDabdul. Here he is being arrested just before his planned attack on a sausage factory just outside Oldham. In his backpack, MI5 reported there was a set of spoons, some sellotape, some paper clips, a tin opener and a copy of the Beano. He was obviously planning to bring down the factory and kill everyone inside. He is a very dangerous person. That's another score for MI5. Chalk it up, Fatty Four Eyes.
Sorry to be facetious, I should take it seriously, but it's like in America, all the plots that the FBI just happen to stop in the nick of time are organised, planned, equipped and enabled by the FBI. The patsies that are being set up couldn't tie their own shoelaces together, let alone plan a terrorist attack, but the FBI get their bust and the government get their fear. All I'm saying is that not many people trust a word that comes from a politician's mouth anymore because 99% of it is pure lies. So why should we trust them now? Why should we trust them on this point? I personally need proof if I'm to believe these muppets. They lie about everything. They can't even get their figures to match.